So in January 24, jumped out an article talking, and I shared it with my team, and I'll find it and share it if I can, talking about the way that AI is going to change the trades. And it's not coming for your job. It's actually going to bring people into the trade that generally might not have. And it talks about how you can have people who are going to be basically specialists in inspections, and they'll be able to come out and identify the problems. And then you can send out a lot of companies use installers to do like compressor changeouts and stuff like that. And so you'll be able to send out these installers, these people that have a different skill set who maybe don't know how to do the diagnostics, and you can take that report and turn that in. And so we've actually partnered with a home inspection company. They have us come out and do a full Measure Quick report, and we give the letter grade, and it shows what things need to be corrected to make the grade better.
Today's episode is brought to you by one of our show partners, UpFrog.
UpFrog is the OG when it comes to pricing transparency online. They find system replacement leads through paid ads and have developed an entire system to drive those hard-to-find system replacement opportunities, nurture the leads, and book them into sold systems before your team arrives to help you grow your business.
Hey, I'm Krista with MarketStorm, and we work with home service companies across the country. Quick question. If another HVAC or plumbing company in your area starts influencing homeowners before they ever hit Google, who gets the first call? By the time someone searches plumber near me, they've already been researching the problem. We use AI to detect those early intent signals and put your brand in front of them. So when they do search, your name already feels familiar. Visit marketstorm.ai or text us at 213-575-5448.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching Service Business Mastery Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett, and Josh is not with us today. He is actually enjoying some family vacation time. It's his wife's birthday. So happy birthday to her. They're actually in Italy. And it's funny because Josh, actually, I was texting with him yesterday or day before yesterday, and he's like, it's unbearably hot over here. And it's not because, it's hot. It's like 90 degrees, 98 degrees in Italy, but they don't have air conditioning. And all of the houses are built to retain the heat. And he said that makes it where it's so crazy unsafe. There's 200,000 people who pass away from heat-related issues every year in Europe. Right? Yeah. So anyways, I'm excited to have Chris on the show today. We've known each other for a long time, and I love the fact that I can talk to friends on the podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about Breezy. Honestly, we're talking AI, using AI to improve operations and all that good jazz. If you know me, if you know the podcast, I love talking AI. I love talking automations. Truthfully, none of that is going to happen unless you make your processes efficient. If you're not optimizing your processes first, otherwise, you're going to automate garbage, or you're going to use AI to put out some garbage. And we've seen AI slop. I think we are getting to the point to where we're starting to get some AI fatigue going on, where people are getting tired of seeing AI slop being put out. And I'm definitely one of them. I've been in the AI world for a hot minute now, and it's one of those things where I'm like, man, just put a little bit more effort into it, and then it'll be great product. With that being said, Chris, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. This is long time listener, first time caller.
That's awesome, dude. For those who are listening, tell me a little bit about your background, your history, and what industry you're in, and how long you've been in here.
Yeah, so I grew up working with my dad in an air conditioning business. He would run after hours service calls, and I'd go with him after school, things like that. And I remember the first time I changed out a blower motor, I was like 8 years old. He was, I grew up in Michigan, and now I'm out in Arizona in Tucson, but he was upstairs talking with a customer, and I was cold and I was hungry and I wanted to leave. So I started doing the thing, and I put the panel back on the furnace as he's coming down the stairs. Say, hey, what are you putting the panel on? We got to change the motor. And I pointed at the box, and I was like, I already did. And the furnace kicked on and it started up, and he just stared at me like, what just happened? And I was 8.
That's what I'm talking about. Like child labor at its finest.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, God, before I had my driver's license, I was in a service truck. He would hire somebody to drive, and I would teach them the trade all summer. And then eventually I ended up, got my license and started homeschooling and just worked with him. And I didn't always work with him. I ended up working with one of my cousins doing some other things in the trade. So I've done everything in home construction from the ground up. So,
Yeah. That's
which is
that is really interesting. Do you have any kids?
nope,
No kids. Okay.
no kids. Been married
I
20 years, 21 and a half years, no kids.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So my youngest son, it's today's actually his birthday. He turns 13 today, and he rides around with me when I go catch a call here and there. We went to a bakery the other day, and they're like, "Oh, this is." 'Cause I had already been there once to diagnose the problem, and I ordered some parts for the walk-in freezer. And then he came back when we did the changing out the parts, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna come do the actual work, huh?" And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's learning a little bit here and there, but,
Confidence when people say things like that, though.
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
also he's learning that, like, he's learning whether or not he wants to do the trades. And so, like, that's one of the things for me, like, I'm gonna be very careful not to push him into the trades. I'm also very careful not to push him into college and then push him in one direction or the other. Like, I want him to try them all out and see which one he wants to do. We actually had I've signed them up for things called hackathons where they're kid-related hacking events, and basically they teach you how to write code, to be able to hack into different products and stuff. And so these companies and organizations actually will pay you to try and hack into their software.
Yeah.
And
That's
so yeah, it's a really cool concept. And so, like, it has to be a team. So the brothers, I have 3 boys. The brothers have to they gang up and try and hack into different programs and stuff. And so, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hopefully it stays white hat and doesn't
yeah.
turn black.
Yep. Yeah. I'm with you there. I get it. I
Yeah.
like that's cool. So they're trying their hands at different things. I like that. My brother, he grew up, he's 5 years older than me. He grew up around the things and just ultimately decided it wasn't for him and calls me every now and then. He's like, "Hey, he's still in Michigan." He's like, "Hey, my AC's not working." And I'm like, "All right, well,
Yeah.
grab your meat thermometer and tell me what your return temp is or your supply." Not very useful information, but it's a
Yeah.
start.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is funny. Oh, man. So as far as the AI world goes, like, where are you dabbling your toes into AI?
I met a guy, Michael Johnson. He's out in one of the Carolinas. I always forget North Carolina, but he introduced me to ChatGPT in 2022, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I started going down a rabbit hole, and next thing you know, I'm paying for it, and because I want the more bandwidth, and I want more, and I want more, and so we use that to help us with training, writing procedures, things like that. We use Measure Quick, and there's an AI tool built into that, so the
Yeah.
techs can take their diagnostics and turn that into explanations for customers that are easier for them to understand.
Tell
Takes
me more about that Measure Quick and what you're doing there because, I absolutely love Jim Bergman
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, those guys are great over there and his daughter and all of them that are in Measure Quick. But yeah, tell me more about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so with Measure Quick, we deploy 9 probes. It gives us a letter grade on how the system is performing. It
Okay.
tells us everything about that unit.
It has a lot of visuals for the client, right?
Have you seen their update that happened about a month and a half, 2 months ago? Oh, Tersh, you gotta check it out. So
It's
they
been
give
like
you,
6
like,
or 8 months since I've messed with Measure Quick at all.
so it shows you, like, condenser coil, evaporator coil, or metering device, compressor, and it shows the whole cycle right on there, and all your numbers are on one page, and it'll show you, it's like the condenser coil has this much refrigerant in it, so it's flooded, or it's starved, or it's
Really?
where it needs to be, and it'll show, and it gives you those visuals for the evaporator coil. It shows you, yeah, like, if something is, like, red where it shouldn't be, it's like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really neat. They've done a lot of work in the last few months. I'm guessing they've done a lot of work over the last year, but they've rolled out some really big changes over the last 2 or 3 months.
That is really cool because, like, I mean, I said years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, when Quick first came out and they had the Bluetooth probes and everything connecting to it. I was like, man, I could stick any kind of junior tech out in the field, have measure quick, and then ask me questions, and if I could see his measure quick, then
And they can stream that data and right to your phone
that's
from anywhere in the world. So
that is
my wife and I were in Scotland earlier this month or last month, and one of the techs was stuck on something, and my lead wasn't able to help him, and he streamed his stuff to my phone, and I was like, "Oh, you got a restriction at this point. Check this," and it's that easy.
isn't that
And
wild?
yeah, it's really interesting because Jim actually put an article out in January, right after AHR in 2025.
Okay.
That was Chicago, right? 2025?
I feel like,
No,
yeah.
24.
No, oh, it's Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas?
2020.
No.
So in January of 24, Jim put out an article talking, and I shared it with my team, and I'll find it and share it if I can. But it's talking about the way that AI is going to change the trades, and it's not coming for your job. It's actually going to bring people into the trade that generally might not have. And it talks about how you can have people who are going to be basically specialists in inspections, and they'll be able to come out and identify the problems, and then you can send out a lot of companies use installers to do like compressor changeouts and stuff like that.
Especially during slow season.
Yeah, and so you'll be able to send out these installers, these people that have a different skill set who maybe don't know how to do the diagnostics, and you can take that report and turn that in. And so we've actually partnered with a home inspection company who does a lot of inspections, and they have us come out and do a full measure quick report, and we give the letter grade, and it shows what things need to be corrected to make the grade better.
Now, let me dive into that really fast because that's a really interesting concept. Because I thought years and years and years ago, like it would be great to partner up with real estate agents and do like a home inspection for them at like no cost or very little cost, and then kind of get my foot in the door, sticker up everything, and then so the buyer of the house would actually eventually use us. It's a good idea until you need like a system replacement, and you're like, oh, integrity. Like, what do I say here? Like, I'm here for the seller, but I also
No,
like
we're there for the buyer.
buyer. Yeah, okay,
We're
yeah,
and to be perfectly honest, sometimes buyers will ask for things that like just how much is it to replace it? I'm like, dude, it's a 12-year-old system. I understand it's got some years on it, but it scored an A minus. Like
oh yeah,
we're not recommending. We'll fix the couple of deficiencies and get it back to an A. It won't be an A plus, but like fix the couple of deficiencies and it's done. And then there's times where it's like, hey, this unit scored a D and it's 2 years old and it's installed incorrectly. And so we go to the buyers, we explain it, and we work with both the buyer and the seller to explain, what we recommend, why we recommend it, and this is what we would do. And I'll tell you, we went from just doing general inspection and saying fix these things to using the measure quick, and we have pretty much one person who does it. It's like 24, 25. She started with us in October of last year, and she is our highest gross ticket, like across the board, because she's doing those. Yeah, she's doing 2 or 3 a day, and all those things like the scale, or not the scale, but the time frame from inspection to repairs, we have to wait till they close, and then we get paid out and of escrow, and we go do the repairs afterwards. So it's like we're always like, 3 to 6 weeks behind on that. Now that we're like in the fray,
yeah.
it's been awesome.
Well,
And so yeah, I mean,
cool.
she's writing up everything that she sees that's necessary. So we have like these are the critical things. These have to happen. This is gonna like rejuvenation stuff. This is gonna bring it back to a better grade. And these are things that you as the buyer, we would recommend that you do outside of what the seller's responsibility would be.
Right.
And it's like it's anywhere from $5 to $2,500 worth of stuff. And I mean, we're averaging $1,500 to $1,800 average tickets on inspections.
That's wild, dude. Usually, like that was always like a loss leader or like
Hope
something you
you
would.
get a replacement out of like every 10.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like God, I have to jump back into the numbers, but it's like 1 in 8 is we recommend replacement, and it's kind of 50-50 whether the buyer or the seller. If the seller's like, "I'm gonna have my guy do it," and we usually are the buyers are like, "We don't want it. We're gonna drop out. If you're gonna have your person do it, we're out."
Oh, because
Because they know that they're gonna lowball, they're gonna find, Chuck in a truck, lowball Joe, and it's gonna get done right. And we always tell them, "Hey, after the job is done, we're gonna re-inspect for free and make them fix all the things."
because there's going to be something else that has to be
It's gonna
fixed.
be a bunch of stuff. There
Yeah,
just is.
yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about there. That's yeah, I'm with you there. That now, are you actually presenting that Measure Quick report to them? Like,
Yeah.
does it look good enough to present to the client?
Oh, it's
And
that report is sexy. I love
yeah,
that report. It it brings out, like, it shows you, like, a sliding scale of, where the refrigerant pressure is, like, it should be here. It's way over here, or it's way over here. It's way too high or way too low, and it's like suction
it's,
pressure, liquid pressure,
it puts it in
street, cool.
easy to understand terminology, like
That's
imagery and stuff like
exactly
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I like that. That's awesome. Like, so okay, so we could talk about Measure Quick for hours. I know that I could nerd out
Well,
on that.
so one more piece on that. There's a button you can push, and it pops up the little AI that you can talk to if you're having trouble figuring out the diagnosis. It'll look at your numbers from that job that you're on right now, and say, check this, check that. But it will also, you say, hey, this is actually what's wrong. Help me explain that to the client, and it will spit it out in simple verbiage that they can use. Because we all use tech talk instead of customer speak.
Yeah. So, okay. So Jim and I talked about this a long time ago. I'd be lying to you if I told you the date, but basically we were talking about AI tech support. One of the things that Jim Bergman is who I'm talking about. For those who don't know, he's one of the founder of Measure Quick. We were talking about tech support, and he said the downside to AI tech support is a really good tech support answering the questioning thing. I don't know, the person that answers the phone for tech support, they have to ask good questions because a technician doesn't know what question to ask AI. Like, because if you're a junior technician, as far as that goes, the technician doesn't know the name of the component, doesn't know what the component does. They're not going to know how to ask the question properly. So that's what he told me that they were working on for a long time, is having some sort of AI that knows the proper questions to ask. And it sounds like they've kind of figured that out a little bit.
Some of it, yeah. It's less question based, as far as what it's asking, um, but it's using your data that the music book is, and it's saying, based on what we're seeing,
Got it.
these things are potential issues. Check this, check that.
Have you done any AI voice?
So we have Breezy
Uh,
for our AI voice. It's our overflow and after hours,
how
and
do you like doing that? How do you like using it for that? Or what's your feedback, like your client's feedback on it?
it's mixed.
Yeah.
It's generally positive, and then
Yeah.
there are the people who are just curmudgeons and don't want to talk to a robot.
They're just no matter what, they're like human, human, human,
Yeah,
human.
and ours, I have mine set up for very specific things, like you have to say the word flood, or you have to say the word
Okay.
emergency. I
Yeah.
don't want, if you're just being, like, if you're just being a douche nugget and saying human, it's not gonna happen, and you're gonna be frustrated. But I had a customer, I wrote an email yesterday, and then I deleted it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
I wrote an email that basically said, "Hey, I completely understand if talking to an automated voicemail system makes you want to quit the service that we provide you. I'll go ahead and cancel. Just type the word cancel in the reply, and I'll get it taken care of for you." I listened to the message, the recording of the call, because all of our calls are recorded, whether it's me or the AI. All the calls are recorded,
Uh-huh.
and the call was fine. And then he wrote this, like, stupid email, and I know he's not gonna listen to this, so I don't care. But he wrote this stupid email, and I'm just like, your want was so unrealistic, and it was so pointless for you to say any of that." Like,
Yeah.
I had already put him on I was calling him back,
Yeah.
and he called for maintenance, and he knew that we were 2 weeks out to get to him because he had already talked to somebody else about
And
it.
they don't yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so
Some people are just that way. Like, no matter what, they can find a reason to complain, they complain. But there's times where, like, I've just had a bad day and I've lashed out at somebody, and then after the fact, I felt bad about it. And if somebody sent me a message and was like, "I understand I canceled," then I'd have to be like, let me eat crow over here and apologize for lashing out at this AI voice that I just screamed at.
and then
I've
we
done that before because, like, like, we've all received the phone calls, the telemarketers where you're like, Stop calling me," and then after the fact, like, I hope nobody listens to that call because that was kind of embarrassing.
we had a lady that my wife spoke with, yes, 2 days ago, and she's like, "I absolutely love your AI system." I didn't even realize it was until a couple of minutes into the conversation because she was so empathetic, and it almost made me cry.
Isn't that wild?
And I was like,
That's
"Awesome."
crazy. That is crazy. Like, I had the exact same thing, well, not exact same thing. I was on a call. I went and called a service call myself, and, my son and I worked together, and the homeowner, like, I had been to this house several times in the past, several years, so the homeowner was like, "Hey, man, I talked to the young lady this morning, and she was like, it's gonna be an after hours emergency call because I called at, like, 7:45," and, uh, I was like, "Oh, yeah. I apologize for that. I need to fix that. It's in the AI, the way the AI agent is set up, because it's after hours because the office opens at 8,
Right.
whereas, like, and we had time open too. This has been, like, a couple months ago when we were really slow and it was slow season, and I was like, "Yeah, man," like, she should have looked at the schedule and seen that, we have plenty of time open today, and she could have gotten you booked, but because you called during an after hours time, like, off normal business hours. He was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense," but he was like, "It wasn't an AI agent, though. There was some young lady from your office." And I was like, "Really? At what time was it?" He said 7:45. I was like, "No, I can 100% guarantee you that was an AI agent because our phones do not ring to anyone except an AI agent whenever it's that time of day. It does not swap over to Haley until 8 AM." And he was like, "No, man, I'm telling you, it was a human. She interacted with me like a human." And this dude works at Gulfstream, works on AI at Gulfstream, and he's like, "Nah, dude, I'm telling you." And I was like, "Dude, I'm about to blow your mind." We go to the call recording, like, I look it up on my phone, open up the call recording, and I showed him verbatim that it was the AI voice agent. He was like, "That's scary, dude, because I would have gone to battle saying that was a human because the way she let me interrupt her, but then, like, didn't talk over me. There wasn't a delay in it and all this other stuff, and she was empathetic, and when I complained about it, she said, I will reach out to Tersh and have him call you." And which it sent me a message and did all that stuff, and I did call him. Up until that point, was sworn. I mean, he did. He was like, "I swear this is a human." And so, like, it blew me away at how, like, now it's not always like that because I had one. Did I ever tell you the story about my AI voice agent singing to the
No.
Yes. I mean, for real. Like, this has been probably 2 years ago now, but a technician calls me and says, "Hey, Tersh, listen to that call recording." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'll listen to it." And so, I listened to the first 10, 15 seconds of it, and I was like, nothing's crazy." I figured, like, it would be like the background noise would be something crazy or something like that. I called him back, or I texted him. I said, "Yeah, I listened to it." He's like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "How do you know I didn't?" He's like, "'Cause you would have responded completely different." And, I was like, "All right, well, sounds like it's important." So I actually get on I gotta listen to the whole thing. Well, the homeowner gives the AI voice agent her address and stuff, and then all of a sudden, the AI voice agent just starts singing back to the homeowner the address, like, repeated it back to her, but in song, and just, like, sings it. And I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" But the craziest part about the whole thing, the lady on the phone did not react at all. Didn't even say, like, "Are you okay?" or anything like that. Like, didn't even, like, acknowledge that the AI voice agent just sang back to her. And then so I told my technician, I was like, dude, don't like come out and ask her or tell her that it was AI voice or anything like that. Just like be around the bush and ask her. And he did, and he finished the service call. He texted me, or he called me, and he was like, dude, she ain't got a clue that was a AI voice agent. She didn't mention it. Like, I all but asked her, why didn't you react to the person singing on the phone? So I call up the owner, right? And I'm like, did you notice the person that was taking your information started singing to you? And she was like, yeah, I did. But Tersh, y'all just do some weird stuff sometimes. So I figured that's what you were doing. And I was like, no, that was an AI voice agent. And she was like, was it? I didn't even know it. And I just went along with it. And
That's awesome.
it was so fun. It was the funniest thing that's happened to me in years. And that was before we started using Breezy. But that, like, I've always gotten a kick out of that whenever that happened. Hello, home service professionals. Do you want to maximize your marketing budget? Then you need to be using call tracking from CallRail. Let's say you noticed a spike in new leads this month. To find out what's driving them, you just log into your CallRail dashboard. Is my new Facebook ad outperforming my other ads? Or is paid search knocking it out of the park? Or maybe it's time to retire those newspaper ads. Since CallRail assigns a unique phone number to each of my marketing efforts, I know where my best leads come from and which efforts to scrap. CallRail shows you your most cost-effective marketing channels so you can get back to business. Go to callrail.com/SBMpod and try it for free.
Quick question. How many calls did you miss last month? Not how many you answered, how many did you miss? Across the home services industry, about 30% of inbound calls go unanswered. And those aren't just tire kickers, those are customers ready to give their business to whoever books first. Breezy fixes that with AI agents that answer every call, they book the jobs for you, and they follow up instantly. So instead of waking up to missed calls, wake up to book jobs. If you want to see how many jobs you're losing right now, go to getbreezyapp.com, use code SBM, and they'll give you $500 towards Breezy on us. Now back to the episode.
Yeah. We had the first iteration of Breezy, and it was very simple, very simple. And not to throw them under the bus, but one of the times somebody's like, I want to talk to a human, and it responded, I am. And I was like,
like at the very beginning of AI, like it doesn't even realize it's not.
Hey. So I reached out, and the team fixed that real quick. Like,
yeah.
But it was just kind of crazy.
I love how responsive they are. And Sean, as soon as I mess with them, anything, they're like, boot Johnny on spot, and they fix it, or give me an answer to why it is the way it is.
Yeah. Well, and so we set it up so that we can, during after hours, if there's a true emergency, the customer, we have some keywords or hot words, whatever they call them, trigger words. And there's certain trigger words that will say, okay, we're going to transfer this call to staff. Initially, it was set up to ring through to me, and I was the AI overflow. Literally this week, they set it up they set it up a while back so that it can go to a different number based on after hours.
Depending on time of day or whatever.
Yeah, time of day. Now it's set up to where it would be like, I have it set up right now so that on Mondays it rings to technician that's on call Monday.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday, the technician that's on call Tuesday. And then we have a built rotation. And so whoever's on call that specific day, it rings through to them directly.
Yeah.
Keeps me completely out of the mix.
That's nice.
And then I just get notes afterwards.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. As long as you're still kind of somehow in the loop, because whenever I started to take my thumb off the pulse, when I started to kind of reel back a little bit and give more freedom to the technicians, they figure if they could work as hard on the job as they work on getting out of doing work, it'd be great. But they figured out if they didn't answer this, and if they did so many times, it would go over to the next day. So the next service call, that call would be the office's problem tomorrow or whatever. We did have a policy where I don't want any technicians going out after 11 p.m. because the next day they're completely useless. It becomes like a safety hazard. Because when I was in the field, there was a service call that I caught the service call at like 11:30 at night. And it was my first time ever working on a water coil, like a
Chill
a
water system.
truly chill water system. I didn't let it drain out all the way before I was fixed because it was like spraying water into this control room at this railroad yard. And like the AC unit was in the office with the controllers like at their back. Like basically it was an open air handler which just blew air into the office, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm there. I go through 2 tanks of oxygen and acetylene. Like, that's how much soldering I did on this massive old coil. And I'm like, "I'm gonna get this thing fixed tonight. I'm gonna be a hero." I worked all night long. It was the first time I'd ever done it. I didn't realize you had to, like, get all the water out of it because 'cause I'm thinking, like, refrigerant. And, like, as soon as you evacuate it, you can start going to town soldering it. So I would, like, solder it, and I'd pop a hole somewhere else, and it was the worst experience of my life. And then I get up the next, like, I didn't even go to bed. I just went straight to the office, and I was
Yeah.
there, like, super early, and they're like, "Why are you so early?" I was like, "I ain't been to bed tonight." And then they just let me keep working that day, like, all my service calls. And I did, I called all the service calls, but by the end of the day, it was, like, an unsafe situation, and I
Yeah.
didn't
You're all
convert.
delirious.
Yeah, delirious. My conversion rate was nothing. Like, I didn't convert anything at all, and, like, that's
Oh,
what
you
I
went
know.
to diagnostics.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what it like, let's let me get through these diagnostics and, like, make it home, and that's it, and that's literally what happened. And so, like, that's always stuck in the back of my brain when it came to that, and then, like, I started actually measuring the conversion rate of technicians that worked late into the evening, and I found that it was something crazy, like 80% of the times I didn't convert the next day at all. That's whenever I started implementing, like, I really didn't want them out past 8 p.m., and the guys that were on call, I didn't even let it ring to them after 11. So at 11 p.m., if a call came in, we just weren't catching it.
I'll tell you what, in 13 years, I can count on one hand the number of times somebody called us that late, and I think maybe twice it was an actual emergency,
Yeah.
and we went out.
And most of the times, that's exactly right. And what I've found also, another thing that I did, just for anybody that's listening, I made my after hours, and so I also changed it so that it's not considered after hours rate, it's an emergency rate.
Mhm.
Because what happened is a technician could be in a neighborhood, and then they're booked up for the day, right? And an emergency call comes in. I don't wanna send them to the rest of the service calls and then have to catch that service call, like, drive 30 minutes back. So I consider it an emergency rate because it's an emergency and it takes priority over the other calls, and he's already in the same neighborhood. He goes and catches that call. But what I've done is I tell the homeowner, like, "Hey, this is an emergency. If this is a true emergency to you, it's worth the additional $100. That $100 goes directly to the technician, and that a way to, you know, to pay his family for taking him away from them at that time frame." And so when I frame it that way, then 90% of the time, they're like, "Oh, it's not that much of an emergency. Like, I don't wanna take him away from his family." And, like, and if they are willing to pay the $100, then that $100 goes to them, and they don't think that, "Hey, Tersh is just pocketing another $100, but he's gonna
Right.
make guys work longer and later."
We we did the exact same thing, and I had a customer who said yes to the after hour service fee, and then he had, 2 rentals in the same neighborhood, and both of them weren't working. And so he said, "Well, can you go do the other one when you're done?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can send a tech over there when he's done. Same service fee." He's like, "Yeah, I get it." And then when it came time to pay the bill, he argued and argued. I had a service agreement for his house, his personal house, and one of his rentals, and these 2 other properties we didn't have on a service agreement. He quit, like, canceled, and he didn't over the fact that it was an additional $50 for the second property. He canceled everything, and I look back and he's like he tells me, "I can't believe that you would risk losing all of this over $50." And I was like, "I can't believe that you would be such a pain in my for $50."
Yeah,
Like, if you're
exactly.
that much of a pain over $50, wait till something real happens.
Exactly, 100%. And not only
You know
that, like, you want us to do these 2 emergency calls. You're willing for them to be out and about and take time away from their family and everything else, but then you don't want to pay it. Like, that's just so selfish to me. Talk about burnout in the industry and technicians, like having a crisis of technicians, not enough technicians, technician shortage. Well, who would want to work for nothing
Yeah.
extra all night long?
Yeah, no kidding. So something we haven't talked about is that I worked for a few years as a business coach, helping businesses around the $100,000 to $300,000 mark make it over the 7-figure mark.
That's a
And
hard one. That's a tough wall to hit there.
it is. And so the funny thing is, I hear people say week in and week out, man, nobody wants to work. All these young people, and I was like, no, man, it ain't nobody wants to work. It's nobody wants to work for you.
That's a gut
'Cause
check.
I got people beating down the door. I got a guy in Kansas City that's moving here. He's literally driving to Tucson today.
Yeah.
And we talked last night, and he said he has some other interviews that he's gonna schedule when he gets here. I was like, if they haven't already talked to you and you're on your way,
Yeah.
I'm offering you a job, not an interview.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
Absolutely.
like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense." I was like, "Yeah, cool. It makes a lot of sense." But yeah, dude, it's bonkers. Like, I've the average age of a technician in our company right now, I think I calculated the other day, is like 25 and a half. And
That's
everybody
wild.
says young people don't wanna work.
That is crazy. And you know
20,
what?
24, 27, and then 35.
I have technicians that, like, so we do, there's this group called Excel. It's, the letter X, CEL, and it's a mentor group
Hmm.
for underprivileged youth in Metro Savannah area. Well, it started in, like, Metro Savannah. Now it's, like, all around the areas and stuff, but it's a really good program where they're teaching all sorts of trades and getting scholarships and everything else. And they have an event that I go for with the podcast, and I take my sons with me if they're available. Like, it's 1,000 kids in this group, and they are some of the most talented people, and they're in high school, and they want to get into the trades, and they want to learn more about HVAC, electrical, welding, and they do competitions there at this event. And I'm like, there's a ton of kids here that want to work, and that's all we hear about is, like, they don't want to work. They don't want to work. They do. They just don't want to work for you.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's wild. I mean, it's obviously some confirmation bias. Like, we both have been saying it, and now we can say that we see it in each other. But I wholeheartedly believe that the more we educate the younger generations, the more they're going to want to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it. When you came up in the trades, and I grew up working for my dad, so there wasn't as much of like the hazing. But when
Yeah,
you in the companies, like the old heads would treat you like crap, and you were the hey boy.
yeah.
And so it's kind of funny because I was, 14, 15 years old telling this 25-year-old guy, "Hey, go grab this. Hey, go." Sending guys out for the board stretcher or the sky hook, you know what I mean? And that kind of, and probably worse, if I'm being perfectly honest, because my dad was definitely a big kidder back in the day.
Dude,
And
we had to change out this unit on my church, like at our church, and we had just put this unit in, but it was a ground unit. So it's a package unit, but it was for the ground, not for the roof. And so it had holes in it, the seeping holes so that the rainwater can seep out of it. It leaked into the church. Like, this is like a remodel. Yeah. And so, like, it wasn't finished yet. There was no sheetrock up yet. So thankfully it was just like a puddle on concrete. So, but we go back and change it out. Well, we change it out during like spring break or something. So, like, my boys are there. I have the new unit on the trailer behind my truck in the parking lot at church, right? The guy, I rig it up, and I tell the crane operator, "All right, man, I'm going up to the top." And I go up to the top, and oh, no, we're getting ready to rig up the upstairs unit. And I'm like, this may take a little bit of time. Like, this is like 30 minutes worth of crane work, and you have to pay 4-hour minimum. So I'm going to get like at least an hour. Oh yeah. All the crane places charge me like that, but around here locally anyways. And so, like, I get up on the roof, and I'm telling my son, I'm like, "Hey man, it looks like that thing's about to come unscrewed. So why don't you like, I need you to screw it back on." And he's like, "All right." So he's screwing
heck?
the like, I mean, 30 minutes I got him up there screwed, and the crane operator is dying laughing. He is laughing so hard. He's like, how long are you going to have them do that? And I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe 45 minutes. He's like, that's cruel. I bet I had him up there forever doing that. And he was like, is it good? I didn't tell him at all. Like the crane operator's laughing. My son comes down and the crane operator's like laughing at like telling him like what's going on. And then he like, at the moment the crane operator tells him that, he looks up at me and he's got this glare on his face. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Good job. You got to screw back.
You tightened it up. Good job. Good work. That's good work.
He never lets me. Like every time I tell him to do something now, he's like, are you sure? Are you sure about this? Because I'm like a fool, you know.
I don't know if I should tell this story. It's probably PG-17.
Go for it.
Bad. Okay, so this guy I used to work for, he sends he's tells this guy, he's like, make a list. We need to send you out of the store. He's like, okay. He said, grabs out his notebook. He's like, okay, what do you need? He's like, all right, I need a 1/2" by 12" black nipple. And the guy looks at him and he's like, not right. And he's like, come on, man, like right, 1/2" by 12" black nipple. And he's like, all right. And he writes it down. And he's just kind of like looking at everybody around and everyone's just staring at him like, what's wrong with you? And then he's a new guy, you know, the FNG. Yeah. And so the, you know, he's like a couple more things. Like, hey, I need a 1/2" gas cock. And he's like, what? You need a what?
The first time they ever said that to me, I was like, is that a real term?
You say that to people? And then so he's like, you know, a couple more things and there's like 10, 15 items on the list. And he can tell like my boss is like, okay. So he says, and I need a 1.25" cock ring. And the guy just writes it down because that's just what we're doing. We're just writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And so he gets over to the supply house and he says, yeah, I need a he looks at the guy at the counter all sheepishly and he looks at his book and he's like, a 1/2" by 12" black nipple. And the guy's like, okay, 12". Okay, what else? And he's like, and he reads off a few more things and he's like, I need a 1/2" gas cock. You guys like, okay, do you want, I forget what he said, if it was like,
the ball,
you know, a specific thing. And he's like, okay. So he's getting more confident. He gets to the end of the list. He's like,
normal words.
He goes, okay, yeah, and I need a 1.25" cock ring. And the guy's like, okay, I got everything else on the list, but you're gonna have to go to the adult bookstore down the street to get that. Oh, right. It's so embarrassed. But I mean, yes. And so I mean, it's like, you know, we still do fun stuff like that. But I mean, I remember putting, you know, I don't know what you call duct sealant. We call it pookie. Putting like chunks of pookie in someone's coffee or something like that.
Gosh,
and
the worst one, the absolute best one, but you can't really do it very much anymore because most of these vans are front wheel drive. But zip tie like a duct strap around the drive shaft. Yeah, and then you get halfway down the driveway and you're like, your van feels like it sounds like it's coming apart. And the first time it ever happened to me, like I was like, oh God. I think like I was a helper and I was driving and I was like, I think the van's falling apart. He was like, just keep driving. Like, and I'm like, what? And then you look underneath the van, it's got like 17 zip ties still strapped to it because they don't even cut it off anymore. They just like, whatever. And then like, I remember in the parking lot at supply houses going to competitors' vans and putting on them. I was like, well, I hope you're friends with that competitor. Like, well, we're frenemies.
Friendly enough. There's Febreze cans that you have to pull the trigger on it and you just put the zip tie on that and throw it in someone's window.
Oh yes, like right before you the Blah House, like chunk it in there. Oh, man, I forgot about all the bad stuff we used to do. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've only been let go once for hazing.
That's good, I guess.
My buddy put a big gob of silicone on my work boot. And I was like, and so I just kind of like flicked it at him and it stuck to his pant leg. And while he was like wiping that off, I put a couple screws through the little edge of his boot. So he was stuck to the platform he was standing on, and he didn't even catch it because he was wiping the silicone off. Well, then I took all the tools and I just tossed him a screwdriver and said, "Here you go."
But he had to manually unscrew every single one of them.
Well, when I went
terrible.
to, I was like, "Oh, I got to do this thing still." So I went to step over him, and like as I'm stepping over him, he looks up and my knee catches him right in the eye.
Oh,
And
man.
he was
Yeah.
fine, whatever. Next morning, he had a black eye, and he walks in, and the boss is like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, Chris accidentally kicked me in the face after he screwed my foot to the floor."
All right, Chris, you got to go. You got to go. Too much of a liability over here.
It's December in Arizona. We're all slow. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it makes sense."
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Whatever. I forgot we put Pookie in the door handle in the Chevy Express vans, like that or silicone. Silicone's worse because silicone doesn't come
Yeah.
off clean. Like it's just everywhere, and just
Yeah.
put it in there like right during the company meeting, like sneak out like you got to go to the bathroom and then start silicone everybody's door handles. Dude, I was a terror, and
I
that was
remember.
the worst
I
part was I was a service manager when I did that.
Oh God.
I did the service trucks.
I remember one guy put beans, like refried beans under my handle on my truck. And like I didn't end up making it like back to the truck for hours, and they got all crusty, and like it became
No.
a problem. And it wasn't a work truck, dude. It was my personal truck.
Oh, that's even worse. That's
And
going too far. Because
He-
work, like the boss man can pay for that truck. Like, don't be messing with my personal truck.
Yeah. I mean, it was all in good fun, and
Yeah.
it didn't do any damage, but it was a pain in the neck.
Dude, Chris, man, we could talk like this for hours. I wish I could.
know.
I should start another show where just BS about stuff.
HVAC shenanigans.
HVAC shenanigans, yeah, something like that. Dude, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. Like, it's always great to talk with you and chat with you. You always have some great stories. If somebody wants to learn more about the way that you've done things and the success that you've had, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Chris
And they
at
could ask you about that whiskey in the back too.
Yeah, so I am a level 3 whiskey sommelier for anybody who's watching this. And yeah, so I do whiskey education. At one point, I was thinking about selling my business because I decided not to. I decided to keep it. And I was this was the next step. I was gonna get into the spirits world, and whiskey sommelier is a lot of fun.
Oh man, that is really interesting. I didn't know that. That's good to know. Like there's a couple of distilleries around me, and I mean, I just like whiskey. So I mean, not sommelier level enjoying it, but I'm more of a taster here and there. Like I'll taste a little bit here, taste a little bit there. I was part of one of them clubs where they sent you like
Yeah.
a little bit more than a shot, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
full like pint or anything, like once a month. And it opened my horizon. So I remember like whenever I was, I don't know, 25, 26 years old, and I was like, yeah, give me a Jack and Coke. And wherever I was at, people were like, Jack Daniels? Like, you're going to drink Jack Daniels? Like, there's so many other options here, and you're going to drink Jack Daniels. I'm like, that's just what I get. Like, that's what I'm.
That's a Jack Daniels right there, but it's not like Old Number 7. It's a completely different mash bill and recipe.
And it tastes good. Like it's adult Jack Daniels.
There's nothing. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like, the way you like to drink it. But that doesn't mean there's not other things out there that you should
And you
try.
should try it. Yeah, you should try it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris, it's fun chatting with you. What's your email again? I'll cut you off whenever you're in the middle of talking.
Yeah, Chris at callplunkett.com. That's Plunkett with 1 K and 2 T's. The rest is just how it sounds.
I like it. You've said that once or twice before, haven't you?
It's on our radio ads.
Oh, yeah. Cool, man. I appreciate you hanging out. If anybody has any questions at all, this episode was actually brought to you by Breezy, and I appreciate everything that Breezy does for the industry and for us. But if you have any questions about AI or anything to do with AI or Breezy, don't hesitate. Reach out and ask. And until we talk again next time, I hope you have a wonderful and safe week. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.